Warning. This podcast contains spoilers.
Third World Cinema Club.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Third World Cinema Club. I'm John Tawasil from Present Confusion. Ayan na naman kayong dalawa ni Jim.
Ikaw na. Mauna ka na.
Hi, I'm Jim. Ang makalat niyo pong reviewer. As in, makalat kong mag-review.
Hi, I'm Princess Kinok of the Police Release.
Yes, and we have two very special guests. The first one has written for both CNN Philippines, Rappler, among others. Jason Tanliwag.
Hello.
And finally, of Unreal PH, former member of Film Police Reviews then, friend of the pod, Armando de la Cruz.
Hello, I'm Arman from Unreal and Pervision Podcast.
Yan. So, myself, Jason, I think Jim, tama ba? Kasama ba kita, Jim? No? Ay, hindi, si Tristan pala yun. And then Arman, we talked about the Q Cinema shorts before they came out. And now, with Jim and Princess instead of Tristan, we're gonna be talking about the QC shorts, having watched them already. So, I'm sure you've seen the parang graphic na ginawa namin that shows all of our rankings of the different Q Cinema films. So at least that's a general idea of what you're going to expect from us. And also, we will be discussing one film each from the Q Cinema lineup that we're gonna talk about. Yeah. So I guess before we start the discussion proper, some of us have and Armand, I'm sure you've attended, and also Princess, you've attended the theatrical screenings ng Q Cinema. So kamusta naman sila in terms of yung cinema release?
Ikaw muna, Arman, since nakapunta ka ng opening.
Yung opening.
Okay. Okay. Siguro first and foremost, I'm still scared, but I guess part of like partnering up with the festival sort of kind of pushed me to go, because I feel like a little bit of obligation is put upon me to like at least try it out and see for myself. And also I'm a bit curious how it looks like currently. And my rationale in my head was that I don't mean to sound defensive at all, or like trying to defend or sort of campaigning for theatrical screenings. I mean, I'm not gonna go on in that tangent, but I feel a little bit of an obligation has been put on me to actually check it out and satisfy my curiosity about going to the cinema again, because I don't know if I'm right by saying that at least things are easing up na naman in terms of the restrictions and stuff like that. So I feel just a tiny bit safer, especially because it is an event and they have like security measures in place. Although in hindsight, naisip ko baka it had accommodated more people than if, say, I opted to watch the theatrical screenings na hindi event. But yeah, I felt safe naman knowing that the festival and the PR people are there to like take care of us, make sure we're safe. So props to Q Cinema on that. They also hosted like an after party, which felt relatively safe as well, even though we had like masks off. It was in the roof deck. So in terms of safety and comfort, I felt like Q Cinema did their part naman, at least the very bare minimum. But in terms of yun nga, may anxiety pa rin ng konti. But putting that aside, I know it's tough to say that, but putting that aside, it felt surreal. Like the biggest screen na pinanooran ko for the past 2 years has been like a TV basically. not even like a projection because I know people bought projectors just to emulate the experience of cinema going, but I didn't do that. So it was surreal to see like gigantic images again before my eyes, and it felt really it felt like a dream. And I don't know if my descriptors are just Achipatpong's films spilling over. I'm not sure if it was his doing or the experience itself's doing. But yeah, it felt really surreal. Especially si Tristan yung kasama ko. This has been my like the film buddy since like time immemorial naman siya, parati ko kasama in film festivals. So it was a really familiar, yet also at the back of my head, am I supposed to be in this kind of experience? Yeah.
Ayun, Ses, how about you? Since you yung na-watch mo na screening was yung regular screenings nila, how did you parang feel going into the cinemas?
Actually, ang funny kasi I didn't have any plans to watch it sa Gateway. The first one that I actually really tried was dun sa press screening. And for me, mas comfortable ako dun kasi I'm assured na everyone is vaccinated. Then tapos, kitang-kita naman na parang dinidisinfect everything, ganyan. Pero parang mas na-comfy ako kasi third day na ako nakanood. Tapos, I actually saw na, okay, so kaya pala may ganong gaps between the screenings is because they disinfected, ganyan. I mean, aminado ko kahit lagi akong nasa labas kasi because of work. Takot din ako. So parang I was like one of those few people na okay lang, let's try to stream it na lang instead, available sa ATX, and ganyan. As a matter of fact, sa yung QC Shorts, pinanood ko lang siya sa streaming sa KTX. So, tapos, the experience of that is, first later na lang. Pero, yung sa, naman, sa theatrical, una, syempre, napaka-surreal na wow, nanonood ako sa sinihan after 2 years na hindi ko, kagaya nga sabi ni Armando, hindi ko na siya ina-emulate. Like, hindi ako bumili projector, pero I was like one of those people who like tried to mimic the experience at home. Parang may popcorn, ganyan. So I guess ang downside lang doon is walang popcorn. Hindi ka pwedeng kumain indoors. So kami nung jowa ko talagang bilisan namin ng kain. Parang kasi we forgot na bawal nga palang kumain sa loob. May dala kaming snack. So parang sige kain na siya, ganyan. So yun. Tapos nakakatuwa lang kasi same for the press screening na napanood ko, tsaka yung sa in-person screenings, yung na-miss ko kahit na, syempre, cooperative din naman yung mga kasama ko sa bahay. Pero iba talaga yung parang nagets ng katabi mo, nagets ng nasa tao sa first row, yung humor ng nasa screen. So, yun. So, parang kalimutan ko, may mga germs, at kasi naka-social distancing naman, ganyan. So yun, and then yun, you just have to do your usual na precautionary measures at home, vitamins, ganyan. May mga ganon. Parang feeling ko lang naging mas neat freak lang tayong lahat. Tapos parang lahat ng mga mysteries ng sinihan dati na, ay may daga kasi ang kalat, ganyan. Parang ngayon, mas controlled na siya kasi nga bawal na kumain, ganyan. Tapos at the same time, bawal ka magtanggal ng mask. So somehow the air is a bit clean or something. So yun. So yun lang naman yung difference. Pero the experience of watching it in a really dark room na sobrang laki ng screen is really magical at the same time. Nakaka-add siya dun sa hype na wow, okay, nasa festival ako, this is real. Hindi na ako sa sala nanonood or sa laptop nanonood ng festival, ganyan. So yun lang naman for me.
Ses, may tanong ako sa'yo. Kasi di ba last year, naka-attend ka rin ng opening ng Q Cinema. So,
yes.
Ano yung difference regarding the experience with what you experience now sa panonood sa cinema?
Actually, yung last year, parang naman siya, out of the box experience. Kasi hindi siya enclosed na room. So parang open area siya na may malaking tent, ganyan. Tapos, yung projector screen niya, hindi siya kasing laki ng projector sa loob ng sinihan. So, alam mo parang yung, kasi, may nabasa ako tungkol sa yung experience of watching it in a really dark room. Hindi siya katulad ng gano'n na parang na-absorb mo talaga yung images. Kasi doon, may mga external factors like naririnig mo yung city sa labas, na may mga sasakyan, may mga nagdadaldalan na hindi talaga nanood kasi mga usher sila. Alam mo yun, may ganun siyang factor. So, hindi mo siya totally na parang nako-compare sa sinehan na kahit may ibang mga tao nanonood, mas intimate yun kasi yan sa isang kwarto kayo lahat nanonood kayo sila, hindi kayo magkakakilala. Tapos yung reactions niya na parang, okay, yun pala. Parang yung shared experience nandun. Yun. Tapos yun, kasi dun sa last year, malayo yung agwat namin sa isa eh. Kaya obvious talaga yung distancing. So parang feeling mo, parang, ito na yung new cinema as opposed to the nakasanayan mong cinema. So yun.
Okay. So, at least meron tayong perspectives no on with regards to yung theatrical screenings, sa online screenings naman, I mean, it's KTX, yung dating partner ng Q Cinema was Upstream, if I'm not mistaken. Tapos, when they shifted to KTX, ang masasabi ko lang siguro mas generous yung window. I think 24 hours lang sa Upstream last year eh.
Oo.
This year parang 48 na sila. Tapos, there are a few parang stuttering issues or buffering, which is more a problem with my connection than a problem, I guess, with the site itself. Pero overall, okay naman. Okay naman
Oo.
siya.
Tsaka na-amaze ako sa in fairness. Kasi nanonood ako dati sa KTX. Like yung PPP last year, trinay ko siya, pero yun nga nagpa-buffer. So, hindi ko siya masyadong na-enjoy. Ngayon, mas appreciate ko siya kasi parang akala ko dati, may schedule siya. Kasi yung schedule na yun, may certain time, parang may certain window. Yung certain window pala niya, 3 days or 4 days. Diba? So parang, mas ma-appreciate mo siya kasi, syempre, given na, yun yung mahirap sa work from home or, yung nag-online streaming ka kasi you have to prioritize other times, diba? Or other things in your life as opposed to yung pupunta ka talaga sa sinehan, nandun ka na eh. So, alam mo yun. Pero dito, at least appreciate ko na parang, okay, pwede ko pa siyang panoorin after or within 4 days. That's good. At least hindi ka parang nagmamadali na, oh my God, nagbayad akong 250. Wala na siya after 1 day. Parang gano'n. Ganun.
So, okay. With that said, let's move on to the films proper. I'm gonna base the order on yung pagka-order ni Princess. Ayan. So let's start with It's Raining Frogs Outside. Ang Pangabagat Nin Talakba Halikol. It's it's a very it's not really a narrative film, it's more of an abstract film about these parang anxieties during this period. Medyo may galit din siya ng konti, yun, frustration. Ayun, Princess, ikaw. Let's start with you. What did you think of It's Raining Frogs Outside? Which is your favorite film palaman sa QC Shorts?
Yes. Thank you. So, nagustuhan ko siya. Siguro, base ko na lang siya dun sa interview mo with the filmmaker na I found it unique na wow, galing siya sa concept na yung parang you're losing yourself because of the external factors going on in your life. Parang ganun siya no? So, when I saw it, tapos nakita ko na, okay, pinudusto nila Direct Keith, ganyan. It brought me back to our conversation with him before sa Berlinale. Para meron tayong napanood no na short na interestingly, gusto na rin. Sabi ko, gusto ko yun kasi para siyang beat per beat. Tapos ganun din dito sa pelikulang to. Parang it's like a hummingbird na parang tapos hanggang sa palakas siya ng palakas. Tapos yung magnanimity niya, for me, nailabas naman niya yung point niya across na yun nga, parang it's like a reflection of the character self na parang she slowly loses herself into something that she cannot fully absorb. So it absorbs her instead. Parang ganun. Yun lang. What about you guys? What do you think of it?
Siguro ako naman next. Yun nga eh. it's a very inventive way of showing that discontent, that yung parang uneasiness, yung parang may shot siya na may parang ipis na pumapasok sa mata, ganun. Parang hindi, it's also parang evocative of a situation that's beyond your control. Yun yung parang yung vibe niya sa akin. Or parang limited yung control mo. Note that there are some shots na nandun lang siya sa loob ng kwarto or nasa rocking chair lang siya habang, alam mo, umuulan ng palakas sa labas. And may parang feeling din na parang the world is going crazy, na hindi mo na siya maintindihan. Nothing makes sense anymore. And yung parang pagpaprocess niya ng ganong klaseng feelings yung lumalabas sa work for me. Pero yun, it's very inventive, very creative. It's actually one of the more interesting films sa QC Shorts lineup for me. How about you, Jason? I remember nung first nating pag-uusap before, parang you were worried na kasi you had a phobia of frogs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I do, and I still do, but I watched this 5 times. No, I like this film. I love this film a lot. I think it grows on you. I do think that on a technical level, it's probably the most, I'd argue, one of the most accomplished shorts in the lineup. Just, people, the way I phrase it kasi is that this reminds me of this poem kasi that I read about sa book ni Carmen Maria Machado called Bipolar is Bored and Renames Itself. So that's from another writer called Jackie Germain. Tapos she says na all of her poems are technically about the same thing. It's just told in so many different ways. And that's something that she has to reckon with at some point in her life, na you're just saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, right? And I feel like that the whole film is in fact like the images are literally synonyms of one another, diba?
Yeah.
Na merong sort of, people will very easily think of this as like a pandemic film because of our current situation. But I think it's also a film that is about the pain of transformation. Yes. I think it's a pain about mental illness. It's a pain about the process of accepting that you are inevitably going to change. And alam mo yan. And I think that sobrang ganda nung storytelling because nag-i-increase yung stakes with every image.
Yeah.
At habang napapalitan yung image, parang almost as if kapag malapit na niyang ma-solve yung problem or malapit na niyang mapangalanan, biglang nag-iiba. And parang ganun ang buhay, di ba? It's the same problem coming back at you in a different form. That's also very Kafka. Like Kafka and the Doll, yun yung whole thing nun, di ba? And I really love this short film. I'm still very afraid of the frogs. I can't look at the screen kapag meron yung mga palaka. But I do think that it's very clear na if you love this film or if you like this film, it will be very clear, and it will be very clear for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Like there will be people who will hate this because they don't understand the experimental style, but you can't deny the fact na the director, si Maria Estela Paiso, she is really, 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 I guess, distinct. I don't think this one was the one that shocked me the most because I can't imagine having done like animation, alam mo yan, like animation and like digitally rendering a head in the same amount of time as like, and for arguably the same amount of resources as some of the other filmmakers. Alam mo yan. So that was just very, very impressive on my end.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with Jason.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to jump off like with what he said. There's a level of confidence kasi doon sa how the work comes off, like because you can like mishmash different mediums and she did it so effortlessly here, from the the stop motion, yung mga CAD renders. There was just such a level of confidence in her presentation here. So yeah, yun. Just wanted to add to that.
Pero additionally, sorry.
Go.
Or,
Go,
you
John.
first. No, okay lang.
I'd argue actually na it can work without the dialogue, which is why parang nagma-minus points ako.
True.
Hindi ko alam kung nagma-minus points ako or not, pero parang para sa akin, kahit wala yung dialogue, nag-work siya. Pero at the same time, pag nilagay mo kasi yung dialogue, it becomes very clear na it's also narrating a sort of provincial anxiety. If that makes sense. Like on a personal level, super like I relate to that as a provincial kid. So parang, yeah, I love the film. Wala lang.
Ay, sorry. Masingit ko lang. Actually, nang napanood ko siya, sabi ko, as people who are not like used to short films na medyo, yun nga, kagaya ng sabi niya, dapat may certain bravado if you wanna like add animation, experimentation on it. Parang di sila masasanay kapag dinagdagan siya ng dialogue. Pero in fairness sa kanya, dito sa film to, na-pull off niya na parang di siya cheesy yung dialogue niya. Alam mo yun, na parang it made me feel na it's part of it. Parang hindi ko siya inisip na nuisance. I don't know. Siguro nasobran lang ako sa parang experimentation na walang dialogue. So parang for me, wow, this is new. At least, alam mo yun, parang it became a norm already for such filmmakers to add this kind of like texture to it.
Because it's a double-edged sword eh.
Sword.
You can add dialogue and sometimes you over rely on it na parang it becomes the point where if you're experimenting with visuals, the visuals should somehow drive the point in a more major way than the dialogue. But then if you in this case, as Jason had discussed earlier, if without it, I'm not exactly sure if it would had the same level of clarity and confidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey.
Jim,
Hello. Ganyan. Pagka talaga mag-review talagang Sure. Regarding dun sa It's Raining Frogs Outside, I agree as well with Jason, no. And total nabanggit yun na yung voice over in the film, no, kasi very experimental yung pagkakagawa sa film, and not all people appreciate experimental films. Ako I find it sometimes esoteric ang mga experimental films, but for me I like the film kasi kahit na nightmarish yung visuals niya, it portrays or it depicts a person who's suffering from mental health, no. Pwede rin kasing the person is also experiencing uneasiness during the pandemic, ganon. At nakakatuwa with It's Raining Frogs Outside kasi di ba yung eksena kasi of Raining Frogs Outside, biblically speaking, was part of the plague, di ba, nung panahon ni Moses, ganon. And another na reference na nakikita ko doon was yung sa film na Magnolia ni Paul Thomas Anderson, yung Wise Up ni Amy Mann. So ayun, kaya nagustuhan ko rin yung It's Raining Frog Outside. And ang maganda kasi nito, we know that Derek Keith kasi yung mga films niya is may pagka-absurd and rin ni Derek Keith when it comes sa ganyan, yung may pag-experimental, ganyan. So nakikita mo yon dun sa result nung gawa ni Estela Paiso, because I believe si Derek Keith is the consultant and at the same time mentor niya. Yun.
Oh, sorry, you mean Keith Delegaro, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, sobrang interesting pag titignan niyo yung inedit niya na films ni Maria Estela Paiso. Like as in Midnight in a Perfect World. Alam mo yan, like very, I mean, one of the editors of it, I think, or parang something like that. Like very clear na kung what kind of films form this particular
idol
story.
Na yung editing niya.
Oh, and actually excited ako kasi she's developing, I think, her feature film. It's called Karaoke Dreaming. Sobrang it's something I want to watch. Like as in, yeah.
Sorry, add ko lang din sa sinabi ni Jim because he mentioned something yung yung biblical reference ng film. Because parang pumasok din yun sa isip ko. So parang the first thing that that came to my mind, like plague, I immediately connected to what we're experiencing right now. And siguro that the helplessness one feels with the lack of control one has over what's happening around you, 'di ba? So parang immediately na connect ko siya doon, and be that you as an individual or us as a collective facing this enormous thing. I felt like the film was sort of using that reference. Parang kasi in the, 'di ba, ano siya, naalala ko rin yung yung film na sinabi ni Jim, which is Magnolia. Because the image of the raining frogs, apparently what it means is parang reckoning with your sins, and parang it is God's way of reminding you na you can still make amends and clean up your mess, be that as an individual or as a part of society. Kaya nag-stick out din sa akin yung shirt from the bakery. So parang I wonder if it was a call to action by Maria Paiso. Sabi sa shirt, walang tinapay sa mesa kundi sa mas. I don't know if that's if that's a deliberate thing. But yeah.
Sabi ko nga dapat yung shirt may sariling award yun eh. Kaya
I think it's so deliberate because everything in the film is deliberate. I mean, walang reflection yung babae. Alam mo yun, like those tiny details are very, very clearly like directorial intent. And sobrang medyo nakakatakot ngayon if you think about it. Like just someone na sobrang linaw nung idea niya of like how to execute something. You know yun? Like wala lang. It's nagugulat ako and it's great. Yeah.
Ayan. Okay. So with that said, are there any final thoughts before we go on to the next film? Oh, says wala na. So so our next film from Princess ranking is City of Flowers by Seth Suarez. So set in the backdrop of the Zamboanga siege in 2013. It's a couple that's struggling to keep their land for themselves. But then the husband gains word of a significant financial opportunity. So, ayun. Your thoughts on City of Flowers? Anyone want to volunteer?
Ikaw, John, since although technically yung roots mo is from Zamboanga. Kasi ako, I've heard of the siege kasi nga yung papa ko sa BBL. Pero I forgot na nga pala nagkaroon ng doon siege. So yun. What was your thoughts when you saw it?
Yeah, well, gaya dun sa very, very, very short na review ko dun sa sinulat ko. It's based dun sa pag-usap namin ni Seth nung yung live episode namin sa Q Cinema. It's also a way of bringing attention to the memory of that event. Kasi yun nga, it's not entering the public consciousness. Pero right now, the people in Zamboanga, they are supporting, they're supporting people who supported that massacre during that time. Parang people forget very easily. And this is a way to bring it forward. In other respects, nakita ko nga, parang yung consensus ng maraming tao, they really liked City of Flowers. A lot of them said it was their favorite film of the QC shorts. And I understand kasi it's very well made, it's very well shot. Even though the story is relatively straightforward. I mean, these two people who are trying to, control land get livelihoods for themselves. Para makapagtrabaho for their family, they can keep the land and live there. Ang dami na nilang problema from the get-go, tas may papasok pang ganito, di ba? And yun nga, it's a prelude eh. And di ba City of Flowers refers to Zamboanga, pero the flowers could also mean parang apoy, explosions. Yun yung parang in-evoke niyang images in my mind. So, ayun, it's deceptively, may pagka-deceptive beauty siya, kumbaga na tipong, alam mo yun, parang it's one thing but it's another. Parang, yeah, people still suffer in these, even in these conditions. And in terms of ano din, in languages, ganyan, very few films set in Zamboanga are shown even in the rest of the country, no? Si Astri Makasitambula was one. That film with from Ryan Mersha was another one. Para sobrang konti and sobrang nakakagulat na, well, I don't speak Chavacano pero I do understand some Tausug, which is also spoken in that film. Na parang wala lang, pride lang, parang yay representation, ganun.
Oo.
It's so
Patawarin ako
nice
kasi
to
may,
the ear.
yeah, parang sa wow, may naiintindihan ako ng konti. Alam mo yung parang kahit hindi ka nakatingin. Kasi, parang, yung ibang moments dun sa film, siya parang, ang tawag doon, parang still life lang siya na okay. Mag-asawa sila, may mga struggles silang kailangan. Tapos they mention it in a different language na hindi Tagalog. Na wow, parang nakakatuwa. Tsaka, yun nga, kagaya ng parang sinabi ko sa Twitter na mas maganda talaga kapag yung mga struggles, mga kwento tungkol sa isang region or land, mas maganda kapag ang nagkwento nun ay taga roon. Parang ganun. I mean, not to offend naman yung mga nagagawa ng films devoted to those regions. Pero kasi iba yung iba yung first-hand experience ng mga taga doon na storytellers din. And I commend Seth Suarez for being able to bridge that gap kasi hindi niya kinailangan ng antics or gimmickry just to tell the story. And it's a very sensitive film na he kind of lets it unfold in your eyes slowly by slowly. Kaya kung siguro wala si Raining Frogs outside, baka siya yung naging number 1 ko. Ayun. Kaya ako siya ginawa number 2 because ayun nga, parang parang sa akin, parang mas maganda siguro kung mas ma-explore pa siya as like a bigger film. Kasi I think there's something more that he wanted to tell rather than the material that he was able to produce. So, ayun. Pero out of all the regional films that I've seen so far, I was so pleased na, something like this came out in this festival. So you kind of miss it. Parang, na hindi siya yung parang nakapalabas sa regional film festival din. Parang maganda talaga na parang tayo dito sa Manila, we are reminded na, nga pala, this is happening. These are the other struggles that you face aside from the pandemic. Parang when you think of it nga, yung pandemic ngayon, para na lang siyang low-lying fruit eh. Parang maaalala mo na, nga pala, nandiyan pa rin yung corruption, nandiyan pa rin yung pangalipos sa mga IT, nandiyan pa rin yung mga outer forces that are trying to get our freedom. So yun. Yun. How about you guys? What else did you think of City of Flowers?
Ako, 2 things. Number 1, siguro these are like really small observations. Maybe the others can fill in like the rest. But first thing is, it kind of awakens me to the fact na how much luxury I've been taking advantage of as a Manileño because I've never been I never lived in the province, and I've always had the privilege of having access to everything. And one of the plot points in the film is nagkaroon ng confrontation because one of the spouses forgot to buy batteries for a radio, because that's understandably that's their only source of entertainment. And here I am unsure of what to watch, of what film to watch on Netflix, because there's so much options for me. So yeah, it kind of just humbles me to watch films like this where a single like I don't know what the big battery is called. That is the difference of a good and a bad day for people in the in is it still considered gida if they're isolated like that. But anyway, I'm going off tangent. And but second thing is that I think Seth has an eye for local talent. I'm not sure if the actors he used here um are trained actors, but they are really good. Because I know in Si Astri Makasi Tambula, he used non-actors, and it added to the authenticity of that film, and I appreciated that. But here, same thing. The actors are really good in portraying this sort of everyday life in the province, where the comforts are meager, but enough to get them by, and you see how bonded they are um as a result. So yun, those are my two thoughts.
Anyone else?
Para tayong,
Ayan,
para
Jason,
tayong
how
nag,
about you?
ayan, go.
Okay, when I watched this, I I thought that it was very appropriate that it was the end of the program, because I think the heaviness of the fact that this is really like this is a story that's based off of reality. Really, it's a ika nga ng Spencer. It's a fable, diba, extracted from a devastating truth or something like that.
Mm.
I you know there's something about it though that parang masakit siyang panoorin. Obviously, there's ang ganda ng, in terms of the production, ang ganda ng the fact na it used, I think, sepia tones, right? For a city na, yung description niya, a city of flowers, dapat vibrant siya. Every now and then, makita mo yung mga yellow na flowers, di ba, na nagsistick out sila from the otherwise parang medyo dull na color palette. So on a visual level, like it's I think a very, very beautiful film. Yung story, I thought initially when I watched it, I thought that it felt incomplete. I felt that it felt incomplete. But then I recently watched this interview with Sir Ricky Lee. Wow, na parang pakiramdam niya na yung mga kwentong sinusulat ng mga workshoppers niya were incomplete stories, not because hindi sila magaling magsulat, but rather because our lives in themselves are incomplete, right? And I think that City of Flowers kind of depicts the abruptness kasi of the loss of life of something so devastating. And that's something that only made sense to me, like after I thought about it. And that's not something as apparent, because usually we look for reasons, we usually look for clear cut things, or more interesting ways of executing a narrative. But I think the intent here was really to display how clear yung pag-cut nung story ni Nasser. Diba? I love the fact na the couple had lives outside the devastating event. It wasn't all just in reference to the event. Parang they had a whole plan for their lives, and then going to the peace rally was like this detour basically to fulfill that, and then it's what causes the devastation really. And it kind of personalizes something na, or kind of gives a face to yung loss that we only see, at least from our vantage points as people. Ako, at least from my vantage point as a person who is from Pangasinan and who stayed a while in Quezon City, it kind of gives a face to a statistic that we usually just see on the news, and like the more that I actually look at like Zamboanga and like filmmaking, because obviously merong CNN article si Regina Cabato about it, about how filmmaking has been used by some of the kids and also some of the young adults to kind of process the events that happened, right, and tell their own stories in their own ways. And I think this is a very clear manifestation of that. I have to talk about this because I feel like we have to talk about this. I'm genuinely shocked that this went home empty-handed sa Q Cinema.
Yeah.
I'm
Oo
genuinely
nga.
shocked.
Agree.
Actually.
Like full disclosure, we'll get to other films later, pero I genuinely thought that this was going to get something.
Ako
I thought
din.
it was going to get audience award, or
Mm-mm.
I thought it was going to get like at least a jury prize.
Mm-mm.
True.
Yeah. Pero yun, I was shocked that this went home empty-handed. Also because I think that out of all of the films, you could argue with me obviously, pero parang this is the most cinematic one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I agree.
Na
Yes.
parang if you watch it in a
Oo,
big
yung-
screen,
Bagay siya. Kasi parang,
oo.
tsaka I agree with you na buti siya yung hinuli. Parang tinik ko yun na good thing na ito yung hinuli. Kasi maganda naman yung outcome nung 5 other short films. Pero kasi they're all, fictionalized or hindi siya direct na na kwento about something. Ito direct kwento siya about all of us, you, me, everyone here in this discussion. We have been, we have our own lives outside of that siege or outside other sakuna, pero we're affected by it. So, alam mo yun, parang sana man lang kahit hindi na siguro, well, hindi na siya gender sensitivity, pero alam mo yun, kahit anything that would push people to watch it. Kasi sayang, ang ganda, lalo yung sa parang may shot doon na pababa yung camera, nagpa-pan out siya doon sa parang blood ng chickens yata. Yung parang wow, parang kagaya nung umpisa, di ba? Sa review mo parang hindi siya yung makulay na alam mo about Zamboanga na may mga tiboli, may mga pausog na sumasayaw, ganun. Wala siyang ganun. As in, normal life siya. Still life siya na, hey, babangon kami, tapos we need this and that. Tapos biglang, may offer doon na magpunta ka lang, babayaran ka na, may pangkain tayo, ganun. Tapos biglang, boom, wala na. No? Na-ruin na yung niya. Yes, no festive music either. Tama. Walang ganun di ba? Kasi yun yung usual na parang people would ask me, di ba sa Zamboanga masaya dyan, may mga binta, ganyan. So, depende sa kung saang part ng Zamboanga. Pero alam mo yun, not everyone. Katulad din naman dito yung mga kondo-kondo, ganyan. It's just beautiful when you look at it from the outside. When you live inside, there's a lot of other things going on. Diba? So yun. Beautiful film. Sayang, sana
Sana nga may
nadagdagan siya
pinanalo siya.
kahit best director or cinematography, parang wala siyang ganong awards this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
True.
like honestly, like I'm still shocked. I'm not saying na the other well, hindi. Maybe I can say that. Pero like
Go
sorry.
lang. Kaming maraming best na kami na band.
Get her, Jade.
No, hindi.
Joke lang.
I'm not mean. I do not think I just think
Mm-mm.
that like
It's a wasted opportunity.
kasi it's very okay ito like on paper kasi it's very easy to delegate it as only an important film, right?
Mm-mm.
Because technically it's the one that's based on reality. It's very easy to say na parang it's an important film, award it. But actually I think that on a technical level and on a narrative level, it's actually a great film. So parang no, I
Yeah,
I
just
can't be mean.
Yeah, just want to add to what Jason was saying because we obviously know what was going to happen towards the end, but it was
Yeah.
still so effective, and the way that they bookended the film with blood, it was
Yeah,
so
with
like,
blood.
oh no, it was just such an affecting film, and yeah, I agree that it deserves some sort of award. But here's the thing, guys, it's so tough when the lineup is so stacked.
Oo.
It's like some of the films are equally deserving of the title. So I guess that's just something we have to deal
to
with.
consider din.
Yung
Sabagay.
yung isa actually yung gusto ko, yung isang honestly, ito yung nakakatawa about the film. It kind of weaponizes your knowledge of the incident against you.
Yeah.
Is it not? Na parang, if you know about the Zamboanga siege, alam mo na kung nang mangyayari. So you're waiting for the bomb. You're waiting for the not bomb to drop, pero parang you're waiting for the needle to drop or something, diba? And then when it does, parang it's still
May
devastating.
impact pa din.
Oo. And yung gusto kong idea, and the way I phrased it is like, you kind of feel like a bystander throughout all of this, right? Like you want to extend empathy, pero it's done. The damage is done. The people, this is a fictional story. Parang you can't extend that empathy. You're reminded to extend it elsewhere, diba? And I don't know. This personally was not my favorite film, but I would have really thought that they would give it something. Nagugulat lang talaga ako. And honestly, maybe it wins because it didn't receive anything, right? Kasi nga, people are now talking about like, what the fuck, like, sorry, bawal bang magmura. Pero yun.
Hindi, okay lang po. Go lang.
By the way, to all of the filmmakers na nakikinig dito, like, I'm super sorry. I'm only one person. You go celebrate.
Hindi, pero tama naman. Kasi, in terms of dun sa awards ng Q-Cinema, actually, I like it that they didn't, although, there are a lot of actors, actresses, performers here na parang artisans, kanyan, na parang, wow, dapat may award ka man lang, ganun. Pero kasi, I think they tried lang din to go to the route of like, not having a Best Actor or Best Actress award this year. Kasi nga parang, may ibang award circles na they're trying to limit that out because nga, not everyone are men or parang may ganun na siyang factor. So, that's okay. Pero parang yun nga, ang hirap na parang, paano siya? Parang he or she deserves the award. The award, yeah. The award. Hindi yung parang maauna.
Did you forget your award?
Sorry. Alam mo yun, pero at the same time, you don't want our actors here, our performers here to be just known by their awards. Alam mo yun, so parang siguro in a way, let's just help maybe City of Flowers get that kind of notion to people na they have to watch this kasi siya yung hindi nanalo na award, pero bakit yung mga tao dun sa Third World Cinema Club, ganyan, they keep talking about it, ganyan. Para ganun na lang siya tuloy.
Alam na. For Rappler. Act on,
diba?
Rappler, act on. I'll come back to you 2 years later after the fest circuit.
Oo, ganun, di ba? So, yun. Pero, at least we all liked it in this discussion, di ba? Na we kind of like it in a way. Yun na lang siguro. Pero, sayang talaga. As in, akala ko din, siya yung mananalo ng ano. Although, hi po, Tristan. Later po.
Later.
Uy! Uy, Sel.
Kung nakita yung ranking namin, alam na.
Ayun.
Ay, nako.
Ay, ganun.
Biro lang. Pero any final thoughts on City of Flowers before we move on to the next film?
Ako maikli lang din.
Go, Jim.
Kasi ako I'm already impressed with si Asri Maka at si Tambulan ni Sep Suarez. No? It's devastating. And here in City of Flowers, it's haunting. Dinala tayo ni Sep Suarez in a different direction. Ganun. And gusto ko kahit na predictable, it may be predictable to others, but yung foreshadowing, di ba, nung sinasacrifice na chicken, and it's foreboding nga actually. Gusto ko yung na yun yung paggamit ng ganong device. And then, ano pa ba? Gusto ko yung binanggit ni Armando regarding radio kasi di ba, especially in far-flung areas, ang nagiging means of communication or updates sa news is through radio. Kaya grabe yung effect dun sa film na nung nakalimutan ni Nasser yung battery, is galit na galit yung asawa niya. Yun. So, yun lang. Maikli lang naman. Pero gustuhan ko siya. I like City of Flowers, and I agree with you all na sana nanalo siya ng award. However, syempre stiff kasi ang nung competition regarding to those 6 short films. Ayun, yun lang naman.
All right. So the next film in the Princess ranking, wow, is Mighty Robo V. It's a film directed by friends of the pod. Maybe not in the future. Yeah, ganun din, joke lang. Biro lang, biro lang. Friends of the pod,
Oh,
Miko
no.
Livelo. De, joke lang. Miko Livelo and Vic Vergara. Yan. Kasi nilaloko nila kami. Ito ba yung pinakapangit? Ito yung pinakapangit.
Oh, siguro no, amamin ka na gano'n.
No, it's not. It's actually not.
It's,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's not. Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, it's
Not
not.
that I'm saying may pangit, pero it's not. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
like,
Yeah, so
Dapat yung name ni Jason dito naka-blurred gano'n.
no, hindi. Ako, lahat ng reviews ko online na. So like,
Oo.
alam mo yan? Like, it's fine.
Go lang.
ako din naman, go at it.
Mm-mm.
So Mighty Robo V is about a government-led giant monster defense organization who
Sorry.
so, they recently lost their 5 giant robot pilots to a monster. And in the process of recruiting 5 new pilots for the job, this is framed as a mockumentary. So a documentary, as I should say. The documentary crew finds out that this organization is very, very dysfunctional. But it's also funny. It's very funny. It's a very funny film. I as a fan of both the live action like tokusatsu and giant robot genres, you can see the obvious parallels to like shows like, Voltes 5, among others. But also parang ini-evoke niya yung feel ng The Office about, this very dysfunctional like working situation that's barely holding on and working this because or maybe despite these people now in it. And there are very obvious parallels then to our current situation in it. I guess my only siguro comment about it would be kasi ang rich ng material, parang ang dami mong pwedeng ihugot doon. And I wanted more, honestly. And also yung the messaging at the end, I also asked Miko and Mick about it during our talk last week. Earlier this week pala. Na yun nga the end of the film is about, solidarity in the face of adversity. Pero given with those parallels in mind, yung parang yung ginawa niyang allegory with the story, parang siguro cynical lang ako. Parang does it really hold? Pero I appreciate the sentiment naman. Pero yun, I really enjoyed it. Sobrang nagustuhan ko siya. If you look at my ranking, it's number 2 actually. Kasi wala lang. I'm very soccer talaga sa mga ganito. And also, yun. Tokwat Bad Boy, gusto ko makitang may gumawa nun in the future. Lalo na yung Tokwat Bad Boy Zero, the beginning. Charot lang. Pero anyway, your thoughts guys on Mighty Robo V?
I can sorry.
Go
I can-
R1, go R1.
I think I have the most ebas.
Go,
Um,
Armando.
I feel okay. Here's I'm just gonna jump off of what John said he wanted more because I felt like because I like Elise and I think and I think they're of the same crowd, diba? Si Miko and si Mick. I feel like I can get behind their humor. I'm not saying I'm part of the demographic who appreciates that kind of humor. But I can get behind it and I'm actually down for this kind of humor. I just sort of wanted them to be more cutting in their critique if there is any to really any significant critique to speak of, because I was really hoping that they would just like hit the ground running with like, because sobrang dami, sabi nga ni John, the material is so ripe with opportunities to say what's already in our heads, diba? So like this is the premise is an ill-conceived government agency na unfit to develop actual solutions to a global threat. I mean, hello, real lifey much pa yung premise. It is because we're in it right now, diba? So I was hoping for more cutting commentary. Yun lang naman because the jokes I can forgive the fat jokes. Because some of it tends to go a bit stereotypical. But I wish in place of that are more cutting critiques on what's happening. Like where are the jokes about our Chinese overlords or like or like the inevitably Christian backstory of the enemy kaiju na baka may mythology na siya in the scripture or something. So yeah, I was just hoping for funnier stuff because especially did Miko do Elise or who did Elise?
That's
That's
Ferrer.
Joel
Pero he
Ferrer.
co-wrote.
Joel Ferrer.
Co-wrote
Pero
it naman.
are they of the same crowd? Like sila, di ba?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like hoping for oh no. He also did
Tall,
Blue Bustamante.
Tall,
Life,
yes.
Blue Bustamante.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for Blue Bustamante, diba, Power Rangers. So I was hoping for just better like or maybe funnier stuff. Maybe it's also not the writing. Maybe it's the actors because I don't feel like no disrespect to the actors because I feel like some of the jokes weren't delivered as well as the maybe screenplay had intended. Na I don't know. It's just some of the deliveries felt kind of off to me, save for the obviously ad-lib parts like yung Robin Padilla stand-in allegedly for legal reasons and the Duterte stand-in again allegedly. So yeah, I was just hoping for something for more basically just to echo what John said. Sorry, ang daming ebas.
Okay lang.
At least kasi if you know their crowd, you get tama naman, you will get their humor. Pero actually, kahit na kami naman, although we've guested them lots of times here, syempre, we're not like, parang sobrang household close na with them. But I get their humor. Pero I do agree na kasi gusto nalagay sa parang gitna. Kasi parang I wanted more social commentary. Pero sa akin naman, baka mabait lang talaga ako. Kasi I saw it as kawawa naman sila. Parang yung humor na natatawa ako sa kanila kasi yung film niya, very pang big budget. Pero at the same time, yung in the movie itself, wala na silang budget. Yung movie din, ginawa siya na parang walang budget. So, parang kahit may sponsors siya, alam mo yung parang doon na yung mockery nila na parang ang Pinoy pagka hindi na maitawi. Yung parang we're just winging it. Parang ganun. Yung government natin is just really winging it. Parang kukuha ng sponsors, tatry na gumawa ng excuses, and ganyan. So, parang yun. Pero sa akin, natatawa ako sa kanya, and I really didn't think it's the worst kasi it's funny. Tapos parang kahit pa halata mo na yung ibang mga actors, they're really not suited for that role. Pero parang maybe in the way that they directed it, it was so good na parang siguro yung like for example sino ba yun dyan? Yung sabi ko taga Girl Next Door.
Si
Rachel
Coates.
Rachel Coates, yan. She's a really good actress. Pero dito, parang dinownplay niya yung sarili niya to be the pageantry na parang bubu, na parang, paano to gamitin, ganyan-ganyan. Pero pa-woke, parang ganon. Tapos, alam mo yun, para at the same time, si Red, si Comedy by Red, parang hindi naman niya siguro laging dinadaot yung sarili niya na mataba siya at matakaw. Pero, alam mo yun, parang they try to do that kasi for it to be close to the kind of humor that they always wanted, which is yung parang tito-tito jokes, na parang mga ganon. Nahinaluan din nila ng parang may pagka-awareness na, okay, bawal na sabihin kaiju kasi it's, parang sexist or something, parang ganun, para ma-offend yung mga giants daw sa giant monsters na, parang mga ganun. So, hindi, ako for me, hindi ko siya mailagay kung saan, pero hindi, definitely not bad, kasi it was, for me, I found really funny. Pero at the same time, yun nga, parang siguro, ano kaya itsura nito kung binigyan pa siya ng budget? Like, yung mga, ano tawag doon, mga cockpits nila, halata mo kasing iniba lang yung kulay eh. Parang, dagdagan natin ng konting styrofoam dito para iba yung konting, cockpit ni red or ni blue, kay green, ganyan.
Actually, Ses, doon sa pag-uusap namin with Mick and Nico, parang they noted na parang this was originally meant to be parang a Zoom film.
Yeah. Ayan, naalala ko yun sa usapan nyo.
Oo.
Pero parang, yun nga, biglang nagkaroon ng opportunity na in person.
So parang, expanded na yung scope niya, pero hindi nila na-fit pa ng ganun kaano yung original nilang concept to that. So baka doon nagkaroon ng difficulties kumbaga, or parang may discrepancy between yung concept and the finished product.
Oo.
Ako personally, sorry.
Kaya yung parang sa akin, yung tawa ko, parang kaawa naman sila kasi mawala silang budget, tapos parang alam mo, pagtatanggol nila yung mundo natin, wala silang mga proper na outfit, mga ganun.
Yeah.
So yun.
Sa akin personally, I didn't mind that it looked that way. I actually thought it was deliberate because part of the point is that they don't have funds, so that's why it looks makeshift yung innovations nila. And also one of my favorite films from 2019, I want to say, or 18, was One Cut of the Dead, and that looked so so
it was amazing.
But it was so amazing. I was hoping for something like that, but sadly not everything for me is gonna be a win, and that's fine. It's not, although for me this film is not, it's not the worst. I mean, not to say that something is something in or a film in the lineup is is like bad. It's just the lineup, full disclosure, is stacked like top to bottom. So it's just a matter of me wanting it to be like because it could have been so much better if it for me, in my book, if it pushed for a more biting critique of what's happening, rather than just like a jolly old good time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's just such a ripe opportunity that I feel like the film sadly didn't really or maybe they didn't naman unintentionally naman nila ginawa, didn't quite successfully grab or grasp. But yeah, that's just me.
All right. Jason or Jim, any?
Unahin niyo si Jim kasi si Jim. Yeah,
Sige.
Sabay
Jim.
ganun.
Sige.
For me, it's highly entertaining, kaya siya yung number 1 ko sa ranking. And ako kasi ang napanood kong film ni Miko Lovelo, and I'm sorry to say na disappoint ako, ay yung I Love You to Death. So when I watched this short film, I really love it kasi aside from it's highly entertaining, it also has commentary, ganun. And maaari nga na siguro sana it's a full length film kasi parang sayang yung opportunity kasi ang totoo yun dyan rich yung material. And sana mabigyan nga sila ulit ng budget to do the full length film. And another na nakakatuwa dito kasi nabanggit na ni Ses yung pag walang budget, kasi ako personally, I experience it because I work in media, diba? So kapag, kunyari, kulang na sa budget, ay nagagawa ka na ng mga, mag-i-improve ka na, something na, not improve in the dialogue, but with the props, ganon, gagawa ka na ng paraan, para tumawid yung episode, para tumayo yung episode, ganon. So, nag-gets ko yun dun sa, dun sa short film. Yun. And kasi ang alam ko kay Mick Vergara, di ba, Patintero, Alamat Mimeng Patalo, which was screened also in Q Cinema. So for me, nag-work yung partnership nila ni Miko Livelo kasi I believe they have the same same mind, kaya ganun yung naging resulta nung short film eh. And mayroon pang part ako na observation ko doon kasi 'di ba kasama si McCoy Dubs. And then parang if I recall correctly, pakitama ako kasi parang may binanggit doon na regarding the inclusion of the LGBT, which was napakita naman sa pelikula. Yun yung minsan with portrayal in media, basta magkaroon lang ng inclusion, may isasamang isang LGBT character na hindi naman talaga nadja-justify kung ano yung
Baka siya nandun.
Oo, para lang siyang nandun. Ganun yung dito with Mighty Robot. Yun, may lang naman yung ko. Yun na, okay na ako doon.
Wala si Tita Shirley.
Natawa rin ako dun sa kasi parang, di ba yung awards nga ng Kiss Cinema, may gender sensitivity. So parang, ewan ko kung anong napasok sa utak ng dalawa, baka naisip na, sige maglagay tayo ng bakla kasi parang ganun siya. Pero hindi naman nila dinidemean, pero parang at the same time, social commentary nila towards workplace na, let's nominate someone for the diversity award. Parang ganun siya.
Yeah, tokenism.
Oo, ganun. Yun.
Okay, Jason, your thoughts on Mighty Robot?
I would like to ask a very genuine question. Taga-Ateneo ba sila?
Si Miko, si Mick. Alam ko si Mick yata.
Si Mick yata Ateneo.
Kasi parang,
tanong natin.
parang I think it reminds me a lot kasi of like Loyola Film Circle comedy, which is that's not to demean them. So I understand the comedy. Wala lang, natatawa ako. I think that what I had to wrestle with this was one, is entertainment enough, and two, parang is it critique, is the critical commentary enough? Parang ganun. Kasi yung actually sobrang good job, by the way, na Q Cinema picked this, in my opinion, because on paper it's just a riot, like as in, and actually honestly when you watch it, it's such a riot. Like pag nag-play yon, sobrang taas bigla ng energy, sobrang funny, sobrang irreverent, as in walang pake, about things, which I like. But then at the same time, parang, and iniisip ko rin yun yung sinabi ni Jim na parang, it's very entertaining. Iniisip ko kasi, merong mga comedies kasi that they're successful because they don't pander intellectually to things. Do you get what I mean? Like, they're completely fine. Oo, di ba? Na they're effective because they're not trying to be smart. Alam mo yun? And that, again, that's not a negative thing. Parang, iniisip ko lang anong comedy ito? Ano yung identity nito? Is it one that's trying to be intelligent or one that is parang fine not being intelligent? So those are the two things. What keys me into like why I think it needs to be more successful as a critical commentary is because of the mockumentary format. It's really the mockumentary format that gives it away. Kasi parang ang pansin ko kasi sa mockumentary is that you're trying to make fun of like something that's usually held in secret na nasispill siya into like an interview format, diba? Ang The Office, what's funny about The Office is that in a place that's supposedly highly professional, the interviews and whatever happens in the camera becomes way for the unprofessional to happen. Parang yun yung whole thing, di ba? And I think yun yung mas hinahanap ko dito actually. Yeah, ayun. Parang I also wish na mas cutting yung commentary nila. I honestly wish it was more offensive. Like,
yes,
is that a controversial opinion? Diba? Parang I wish it was more offensive. Like if you're gonna roast everyone, roast them. Alam mo yun, like be offensive, like take a hard swing. And I think that this doesn't pack enough of a punch. Or if it does, it packs only one. Diba? Which is sobrang funny kasi that's a story. Honestly, I don't know if, obviously I wish that people had bigger budgets because mas well compensated yung mga tao. Pero I also think na it would have been so much funnier if they really showed na karton lang talaga yung mga robots natin dito sa Pilipinas. Like, that's so, as in, it's so stupid. It's obviously it's not going to work. Pero they keep sending people out anyway. Parang alam mo yun? I like that idea. And honestly, like, when I saw the log line and everything, I knew that hindi ako yung probably magiging audience nito. Yeah, oo. I feel like when I read that, I get so sad sometimes. I was pretty sure that I mas audience ako nun or whatever. But then I actually think that it is funny. It does have critique, but I don't think na it's overly funny or overly critical in the ways that are parang necessary to be the kind of film that it is. Does that make sense? Like, I remember kasi I can't help but compare it to The Slums na it just gets more and more offensive. Like yung subtitles,
True.
poor. Na sobrang what the fuck? As in, isipin mo like, what are these people thinking? And you realize na yung mga people na hindi marunong magbasa, hindi nila yung makikita. Diba? They will only see one aspect of it, diba?
Yeah.
And so that was a very good commentary on viewership, diba? And everything. Pero yun nga, parang naghahanap kasi ako ng way wherein this can swing harder. Honestly, I think if you add 10 more minutes to this short film, it'll work a lot better.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
kung gawin mo siyang 30-minute short film, magdagdag ka ng way crazier political stuff, it'll work. So
Yeah,
at least, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just limited by the format of the program mismo, na parang 20 minutes max sila, right?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
30 minutes.
Oo. Yeah. Actually, sorry, side note lang to kasi nasa gitna na tayo. I wish the program was divided into 2 parts rather than I wish that there were 3 shorts. Like, I think the first 3 films are good as a program in themselves that focus on the personal. And then the second, parang the next half na 3 films would have worked as like the political ones. Oo.
I
Ang
agree.
ganda kayang opener ng Mighty Robo V. What the fuck? As in, like, holy shit! As in, sobrang, diba? And it kind of preps you. Oo. Wala lang. Ayun.
Ayun,
That's just my opinion.
Says that's what I was trying to get at. I wish it was more sabog and it had more critique. That's it.
Saka parang nakita ko kasi finalo ko yung Instagram nito before si Q Cinema, nag-premiere sa Q Cinema. Tapos akala ko may sasabihin si McCoy doon na parang yung mga tao ngayon, alam mo yun, I thought there was parang kunwari lang, pag in-expand pa siya, akala ko mag-expand sila mala office type na, oo, ako na yung bakla, ako na yung dito, ako yung kulang, tapos kayo na ngayon. Mga ganon, akala ko may dadagdag sila. Pero sa akin, okay lang. Hindi mo na kailangang gawin. Pero yun nga, I do agree. Yun siguro yung parang for me, actually, yung sa ranking 1 to 3, parang sila yung okay. Sila yung pinaka-good for me. Na, not like pinaka-outstanding. Pero alam mo yung parang, these ones, okay sila sa akin. They're not the worst. Parang ganun. And what makes this one not the worst is that, yun nga, parang, kasi siya, actually may commentary sila on like China, pero more of like, Diggy, ganyan, na parang, si Diggy T, ito lang kailangan sa atin, imumurahin naman tayo. Tsaka natatawa ko yun dun sa part na, yung magmumura na sana siya, pero parang sinaran na lang yung channel or what, parang ganun. So, yun. So, yun, I do agree. Parang mas okay nga sana kung if they like made it more braver, na parang, yun, kasi andun na sila parang gano'n, diba? So, yun. Yun lang.
I know friends sila ng pod, so I'm hoping they hear
Yeah.
this. Pero,
I'm hoping then, no? Hello,
no,
Vic.
I mean, I'm not, this isn't, I watched their film 5 times. If I didn't like their film, like,
You won't
I
watch
would
it,
have
like,
stopped at 1, diba? Which is, I did for some films in, other things.
I know which film.
Not here, not in the QC shorts, but like in other things.
in other...
Pero I just want to say, like, Miko Levello and Mick Vergara, like, if you're hearing this, like, very distinct sila na voices. And I'm actually excited
True.
by this. I just wish they allowed themselves to make mistakes. Like,
Oo.
they feel like yung leader na parang, alam mo yun, like in a sense na like, my fear of like overstepping some line. And parang comedy is about overstepping those lines to question them. And I feel like this had some aspect of trepidation that prevented it from literally launching itself to greatness. Parang ganun. Like, my opinion lang yun. Like, if you don't agree, Miko, and also they work really well, honestly.
Yes.
Like the two of them together. Wish they
Sana
just took
mag-release sila
bigger
ng parang uncut, no? Baka may marami tong cuts. Ganun.
honestly, yeah.
Release ang Mick cut. Yes.
Maybe it should be a series.
Oo.
Like a 30-minute series, like actually The Office type. Because they have so much material. I mean, just look at our country.
Pero honestly, like, I can see this being programmed in other countries and them loving it.
Yes.
Like,
I remember-
very clearly.
I remember loving Blue Bustamante.
Mm.
And so it's like just hindi naman to worst ha. And dito should I also just share my power ranking?
Okay, go lang.
But basta hindi to worst in my list. Yeah, it's not the worst. I was just hoping for more from, especially coming from Miko, because I really do enjoy his work. Mick also makes writing. Yeah.
Anyway, yun. Any final thoughts about Mighty Robo V?
Ay, yung pala, last lang. Yung naalala niyo yung unang namatay na mga mga pilots.
Oh, sila lang yun eh.
Sila
yun?
lang yun.
Short film nila yun sa film school. Yung mga characters doon. So parang,
Oh.
That's nice.
yun yung characters ng parang short film nila at sa film school.
Doon nang galing yung Blue Bustamante, di ba? May red something yun.
Oo.
Natatandaan.
Wow, so may universe sila. May Mick
Oo,
universe.
meron sila.
Mick.
I love that.
Mick universe.
Cinematic
I love
universe.
that.
Cute nga yung ship name nila, Mick.
MCU Phase 4 found dead in a ditch. Like, as in, Mick universe.
Cute, no? Mick.
Sponsor nila si Mick.
Honestly, they should have made that their sponsor. Man.
Oo,
Yeah.
di ba?
It would have been so funny. Like,
Kaya tips yan, guys, tips.
Oh,
Or
medyo
add nila si
kinakap ko na
Mikael
yung
Red.
mukha ko.
like yun.
Mikael Red, Mick 3.
Mikael Red. Mick.
Mag-friends naman yung tatlong yan eh.
Oo, di ba? Mick.
Yung parang sa aswang, di ba namigay sila ng Lala chocolates?
Add nila si Sir Mike para apat yung Mick.
Mick.
Mick Mike.
M4 lang yun. M4 lang yun.
M4.
Oo, M4.
Blue carding sa kanila, hindi red card.
To be continued.
Listen to all Third World Cinema Club episodes now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcast from. We'd love to take this experience with you through our socials. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook as Third World Cinema Club, and on Instagram through Film Police Reviews. Do send us feedback and a wish list on, guests that you'd like to have on the show through hello@filmpolicereviews.com.